What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and some more Dead Man's Hand coverage. Today we're going to wrap up the last of the core groups here in the main rulebook, so that's the Desperados. And these are really our main bad guys here in addition to the outlaws. So these guys have a whole lot of things going on. So as normal, they have to have at least half with pistols as their only weapon. Now they do have 4 different types of units, but they also have 3 special rules in contrast to our previous factions. So we know we have to take the boss, and as normal, pretty standard across the board here, although he does also have the +1 in hand-to-hand combat. The killer is optional, but unlike the others, he actually is limited in his choice of weapons, but he has 2 pistols, which is pretty cool, which essentially means he's not running out of ammo. So, and pretty standard again across the board there. That +2 to shoot is always handy. Here we have to have at least 2+ bandits. Here's where we have our main flexibility. So pistol, rifle, or repeater, and may up to 1 may have a shotgun. So similar to the cowboys there, no penalties for these guys and 2 points a pop. So you have some flexibility there, and you can bring that 1 shotgun for some nasty close-in work. Now you do also have access to up to 4 low lives, and up to half of these guys can have rifles too. So if you want some extra range ability, the fact that the rifle can aim twice can help mitigate their lackluster shooting. And again, you're only investing a point in these guys, so you don't need to expect too much out of them. So you could potentially have these guys sit back in a good spot, maybe with a little bit of cover, and just kind of occasionally contribute a little bit of damage. Maybe they'll even get lucky. So ideally keep them in, maybe at just the edge of optimal range, so you don't have to deal with long range penalties as well. But so that you can, essentially get a +1 overall on some shots. But again, other modifiers will come into play there. So again, you may want some of those guys, you may not. It's up to you. So overall, pretty interesting faction. Again, the main flexibility there is going to come in the bandits themselves. So special rules here. So life ain't worth spit. So Desperados may shoot into hand-to-hand fights, so you may want to get up there and get involved in that. So, and ideally there, if you run pistol low lives, you might get them up there, get into some fisticuffs, and then, while you have somebody tied up, have some other guys shoot into there. But to shoot into hand-to-hand combat, simply declare actions as normal. Randomize which model is hit with each successful shot, drawing a card from the deck. An even card is a friendly model, and an odd is the enemy. Desperados also ignore the nerve test required when the outlaw hostage card is played. So something to keep in mind there if you're going up against those guys, as they really don't care about their own guys, right? A Hog Killing Time may be used once per turn at the end of a pistol arm model's actions. As long as the model is not benefiting from substantial cover, the player may declare that they're taking a further shoot action. So all the necessary modifiers there. Now, if it is the 4th shot, no additional modifier applies. Resolve the action and then place an under fire marker on the shooter. So potential there for a 4th shot in a turn, which is pretty cool. And then you're going to take damage essentially at the end of that. So certainly don't want to do it on your guy that is about to get knocked out, but it could be a fun sort of last minute thing to throw on there. But really, you definitely want to time that carefully, so maybe not the best thing to use early in a turn, but certainly it could be a nice way to finish up as well. And when you have like the last activation. So, but anyway, potential for a 4th shot there, so could be really, really nasty on somebody like the killer with his 2 pistols, because he's not going to run out of ammo ever, and really, with his skills, some of the penalties from shooting multiple shots can be easily mitigated there. So worth a look, certainly. Last ability, and again, these guys have a lot. We already talked about the 2 pistols rule, but Crazy as a Loon. So once per game, as a desperate measure, you can activate this ability. So got to do it at the start of the turn before any activations. The ability ignores the need for his models to take nerve tests for the whole turn. Use a marker to denote nerve tests that have been dodged in this manner. At the end of the turn, all these dodge tests count as failed, and hit markers are applied. Naturally, this may result in a lot of folks dropping dead at the end of the turn. So, obviously, careful timing is recommended there, but could be a fun way if you really just need to go on a rampage and maybe it's a close game, but doing this might push you over the edge. Um, you know, finish up those last few shots and kills that you're trying to get in, and maybe depending on the scenario, let's say you wipe out the the opposing player, then you can worry about taking some casualties at the end of the turn. So definitely a gamble, but just a really another nasty ability that this faction has. So definitely an interesting one that contrasts to the other groups. So now that we've covered all four, we can kind of talk about briefly, how these guys fit in. So, I think purely the Kings of Long Range are going to be the Cowboys with basically being able to do like an all rifle group if you want, or all rifle list. Law is of course very strong with their abilities. Uh, the outlaws certainly have their ways of dodging out of damage and things like that. But these guys are just brutal in the sense that you can shoot into combat. Um, Potential to get a fourth shot there, which again, just in the right time, and if the dice are hot, could be absolutely deadly. Because really, if you put all four shots into somebody, and you got the right modifiers, you're going to be doing some serious damage if the dice are hot again. And then Crazy as a Loon finally just gives you another sort of game altering ability here that can really mess with an opponent's plans for that turn. And obviously depending on how the initiative cards are laid out and all that. So just a really interesting thing overall. So hit us up in the comments, guys. Let us know your thoughts on the Desperados and what kind of lists you've used and how they've fared in your games, and what factions you seem to do well against, and which ones maybe you struggle to deal with as the Desperados. So thanks so much as always for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one as we start moving into the expansion books and covering other factions. Take care.